Ryan Coogler's newest movie, Sinners, is now out. Is it any good? Let's talk about it.
Smoke. Why you're here?
Wow, we are so back, baby. After a sluggish start to the year, we finally have a true spectacle and amazing film on our hands. If you remember from last year, the first amazing film from last year, perfect film I would say, was Dune Part 2 at the end of February / beginning of March. If it depends when you saw it. I saw it at the end of February, but we've been waiting and waiting this year for a movie that feels like a real movie, and we finally have it after 4.5 months, and that is Sinners. This movie just left me so happy, man. It feels like a film. You know, you can compare what's a movie to a film, and I'd say there's a big difference, and you know what it is when you see it. And Sinners feels like a true film. This will definitely be in my top 10 or top 5 by the end of the year. I'm not sure what else will come out this year. Who knows what will top it? I think some horror movies will top it 28 years later, maybe. Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, this will be in my top 5 or top 10 by the end of 2025. But for right now, it's easily the best film of the year. I recommend that you go buy your tickets right now. See it this weekend. See it on Easter with your parents and your family. You'll have fun with them. And this one is actually directed by Ryan Coogler. Before we get to him, a funny moment about this one is that it's finally the end of Warner Bros. 3-movie run with actors playing dual roles. Mickey 17, The Alto Knights, and save the best for last, Sinners. And you know, as we said, Ryan Coogler, he's already had the sauce. We already knew that he had the sauce with his movies. He's directed the Creed movie, Creed 1. I always thought he directed Creed 2, but he didn't. Just Creed 1, Fruitvale Station, and the 2 Black Panther movies. I don't think he's missed once. I feel like that's really an opinion that stands everywhere. I think a lot of people would agree with that. This is his highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm pretty sure. He's at 100 for so long. I think it's at like 96, 97, 98 right now. Not too sure on that one. Still think his worst one is Black Panther 2, but I still think it's great. He had a lot to work with the sad passing of Chadwick Boseman. But for Sinners, he's really directing on such a higher level than the others. And I would easily say that this is his best movie yet. I think a lot of other people would agree, as he just truly leans into the filmmaking side on this movie and leads with the full story instead of the action. You could really compare it with Fruitvale Station, because that one leans into the story, but because there's not really a lot of action except from the sad parts at the end. But you know, for Creed, it's kind of the story too, but that's already that's already kind of a story there. But this is truly an original story that he made, and I feel like he added a lot of the action after he made the story, because the story feels so fleshed out here. And it really kind of reminded me, and it felt like a Quentin Tarantino movie, which is a huge compliment for Ryan Coogler. It ultimately had that, you know, same Tarantino pace, the kind of a slow pace, but it keeps you entertained the whole time, and it focuses more on the character journey. And you know, it leans heavily into the script. It's more of a script story movie, just like Tarantino's. Tarantino runs with a lot of dialogue. This one has a lot of great dialogue in it, and it also takes place in, you know, one day, that fast storytelling. But it uses that one day in so many big ways where you don't feel like you've really been left out of too much of the story. It just works so well. Ryan Coogler is truly at the top of his game with this movie. I gotta admit, I was leaning so hard into this movie. I was just leaning forward in my seat like the whole time. If you do plan on seeing this movie, which I of course recommend that you do, go to IMAX, as it was filmed with IMAX cameras for some of the movie, and it was also shot on Ultra Panavision 70mm, which is actually hardly used, as it's probably the widest format that you're ever going to see a movie filmed with. And I was talking about Tarantino earlier, and he was actually the last one that used this format with his movie The Hateful Eight, which is such a great movie filled with a really excellent script. And Coogler actually did a video on YouTube on the Kodak Film channel discussing all the different formats and explaining the different types of films, the film styles, and he really does such a great job at explaining this. I've watched it like 4 times so far. Really do recommend that you check this out. It's a great learning experience. You will learn so much from it. You'll learn why he shot, you know, some of this on IMAX film. You'll learn why he shot on Panavision, of course, just for that wide, you know, to see everything in the frame. It is some really impressive stuff to learn there, and he taught all that in 10 minutes, and I was like, wow. And after Sinners finished, I posted on Twitter that every movie should be shot on film like this, especially IMAX film, because it just looks so clean, man. You know, having that film grain on there, and it just makes it feel so real compared to, other movies shot on digital cameras. And also, a fun fact about this one is that it's the only movie to be shot on IMAX 70 millimeter until Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey next year. He's known for using IMAX, so make sure to see this one in the biggest IMAX near you. Sinners not only works because of Coogler and the actors, but also because it's immaculate on a technical level with some incredible costume and production design that makes it even more of an immersive experience that takes you deep in the South in 1932 during the Prohibition era. This is kind of a main plot point of the movie, Prohibition era. So they're making like a jute, party place for the night, and they got a lot of illegal beer and alcohol that, you can't have sold, drank, or anything. It was illegal back then. And the cinematography here is also gorgeous. And as I said before, when you do get those expanded IMAX ratio scenes, it just makes you lean forward in your seat even more. And the whole movie isn't in the IMAX format. You basically, like, I'd say like 30%, maybe 25. The rest of it is that Panavision for, the experiencing everything and, the environment and all that. But the IMAX scenes are used so well. It's used for like the action scenes, the emotional moments. And there's two scenes that just had me like almost ready to stand up and clap for Ryan Coogler. I was like, this madman did it, and he pulled it off so well. Music also has a big role in this film as Coogler blends it heavily with the other cultural and mystical elements that are featured here. Ludwig Göransson is the composer here. He's, a very famous composer. He has worked with Coogler in the past in the Creed films and all that, Black Panther, and just recently won an Oscar for the score on Oppenheimer. And this might be premature, but I think that him and Hans Zimmer are easily the best in the game at the moment. The tracks on this movie were just insane. And there's a moment, as I said, that just made me feel like I was going to levitate out of my seat. It all just works completely well with the rest of the movie as it leans heavily into the blues music side. I will just be listening to this score for a long time. For the cast, you have a lot of great people here. Of course, Michael B. Jordan playing dual roles of Smoke and Stack. Those are some very badass names. And they're two completely different characters, I would say. They have that brotherly bond with them, but, Smoke and Stack act very differently. One of them is really serious. The other one, serious also, but still, is how to play around and all that. I think Michael B. Jordan just is playing so well right here. I'm not sure if I'd say this is his best role because I think, it's not that emotional compared to some of the other roles he's taken as Creed and all that. But this is definitely up there. He is just terrific. You can always count on Michael B. Jordan to give you just an amazing performance in anything that he does. He doesn't, pull anything. He just does so well. Haley Steinfeld is also really great here. She's not in as much of the film as I thought she was going to be, but she does play an important part in Michael B. Jordan's character's life. Jack O'Connell as one of the main villains was also great to see. Del Orlando, always love to see him in these small roles. Loves to steal scenes. But a big scene stealer was Miles Catton. He did such a fantastic job. This is also his acting debut, so I was very surprised about that. I think he's a big musical artist, I'd say, and he does some of the songs in this movie he does are just terrific. But his acting really impressed me. Overall, though, you have a great ensemble here. Also, talking a little bit on the action and horror side, not getting into too many spoilers, it works very well. Not too much action, not too little. As I said, it's more of a story film. The first half is a more talky movie, and that doesn't bother me. I maybe even like the first half more than the second half. I just love how we kept, grabbing more characters, exploring more characters' journeys, exploring Smoke and Stack's relationships to these characters after being gone for, the years. But the second half turns into like an adrenaline-filled nightmare. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you're not into horror, it's not that scary. There's just a couple of jump scares here. I will say the opening scene in this movie was also so good. It grounds you immediately when you get into that. My friend told me that, and I was like, I definitely agree. But that opening scene, it starts so well, and it doesn't really prepare you for what's going to come. It kind of does, but it really does get you going. And I will say there is two kind of credit scenes. One kind of just goes with the credits at the beginning, and there's one all the way at the end, so make sure you stick forward to those. Overall, Sinners is a bold film filled with risks, but Ryan Coogler nailed it in the way that no one else could have. It's easily the best movie of the year. It's going to be probably the best horror movie of the year. We'll see if 28 years later passes it, but this is an epic sexy, and soulful movie that will just make you wish that every movie was shot on film, as this movie just looked beautiful, shot in IMAX 70mm, Ultra Panavision 70mm. I'm in love with Panavision. I think it's just one of the best formats to get the whole environment, get everything in it. It's probably the widest format that you're going to see, and it just looks great. Ludwig Göransson cooked up probably what will be one of the best scores of the year, maybe the best score of the year, but he is just becoming one of the greats in my eyes, and it will be on repeat for me for some time, as it just is that good of a score. Michael B. Jordan, of course, is excellent in his dual roles, but I think it's Michael Caton that stole this whole movie with his acting debut. This is a must-see in theaters, especially IMAX, and this is easily Coogler's best movie so far. On first watch, I'm going to give Sinners a strong 9 out of 10. I hope you guys did enjoy my review of Sinners. As I said before, you gotta book your ticket to see this movie. Not once, not twice, book them 3 times. I swear you will love this movie. If you have seen it so far, I love it. I love your tenacity to go see this movie so early like me. So leave your own thoughts down below in the description if you did see it. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.